Here we go. On this video, I am doing a basic exegesis of Genesis 14, verses 18 to 20. We'll be looking at an overall basic summary, a phrase-by-phrase grammatical analysis of the Hebrew text, followed then by a running commentary as we go through the text, and then concluding in the process with a New Testament application. So we begin. This text is a great, I believe, Christological moment in the Hebrew Scriptures that we see a wonderful New Testament application of, especially in the book of Hebrews. And so as we begin this, we can entitle it Melchizedek, the high priest. And Abraham, looking at an overall introduction, Abraham met Melchizedek and paid tithes to him. And Melchizedek then blessed Abraham. In this text, Melchizedek becomes a type of Jesus Christ and the eternal priesthood that Christ has by virtue of his resurrection. He is a resurrected high priest who ever lives to make intercession on our behalf. So as we look at the text, I'm starting at verse 18. Reading the Hebrew, it reads, Melchizedek, Melech Shalem Hotzi Lechem V'Yayin B'hu Hohen Le'el Elyon. Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought bread and wine, and he was priest of God Most High. As we look at, first of all, vocabulary, and then I'm following this by grammar. The basic vocabulary here is the conjunction ve, followed by melech, which is a noun meaning king. Tzedek is an adjective meaning righteous. Shalem is a proper name, Salem, an old place name for Jerusalem. Yatzah is the verb meaning to bring. Lechem is a noun meaning bread. Yayin is another noun meaning wine. Hu is the personal pronoun he. Hohen or Kohen is the is the noun meaning priest. Le is the preposition meaning of. El is the proper name meaning God, El, and Elyon means most high, God most high. So as we look at the grammatical analysis, let's start with Melchizedek. Melchizedek. Is a conjunction meaning and. Historically, it would have been ve Melchizedek, and that vav changes to a shurik before the mem here, and we render it and my king. Malchi is a proper noun meaning with tzedek, meaning my king of righteousness. Malchi means my king, and tzedek means righteous. So king of righteous, or we could say the righteous king. So I would render this Melchizedek, and Melchizedek, my king of righteousness. The two nouns would be in construct here, Malchi, and then of righteousness. Melech is the next word, meaning king. It's a noun, singular, meaning king. Notice it is in a construct form here. My king, Malki, or Melik, King Shalem, king of Shalem. Shalem means Salem. And basically, it's king of Salem. Salem being an old place name for Jerusalem. Hotzi is a verb. It is a Hifil perfect, third masculine singular from Yatsa. It means to bring, to bring. So we would translate this verb as brought out. Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth. Notice Hotzi here, looking at it from a historical grammatical perspective. It would have been a peva verb, vatsa, and the hey here shows that we're looking at a hifil stem. So how see, it changes to hotzi. Pathak would have been under the hey, followed by the vav. And so that AW combination changes to a holem vav. So Hotzi became Hotzi. So he brought out Melchizedek Lechem. Lechem is a noun, masculine singular, meaning bread. He brought forth bread. Vayayin, va here is the conjunction and yayin is the noun masculine singular meaning wine. So we would translate this bread and wine. Vahu Kohen La'el Elyon. And he was priest of the Most High God. Ve is just your conjunction and who again is the personal pronoun he. So, and he was priest. Kohen is a noun, masculine singular, meaning priest. And el means God, and le is your preposition. So to God, and el is a masculine singular. So he was priest to God. So we could translate this belonging to God or of God. Elyon means most high. Elyon. El Elyon, God most high. So he was priest of God most high. Again, the translation would be in Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought bread and wine, and he was priest of El Elyon, God most high. Notice here, as we look a little bit at a commentary, that Melchizedek is a priest of God Most High who brings bread and wine. It is interesting to me somewhat to speak of this as a Canaanite kind of El Elyon, referring to a Canaanite god, El Elyon. I understand this to be Yahweh, Yod He Vav He. That is, he is priest of God Most High, of El Most High, paralleling the tetragrammaton God, El Elyon, the one who is. But furthermore, as we think of this text, Christ, as we look at the New Testament, is the priest of God the Father who brings bread and wine, representing, I believe, his sacrifice of the breaking of his body and of the establishing of a new covenant as we look at that through his crucifixion followed by his glorious resurrection, because he becomes a resurrected priest. And little bit later on, as we continue in this text, the book of Hebrews talks about Christ being the great high priest who lives forever as the priest after the order of Melchizedek because of his resurrection. Melchizedek just appeared on the scene without father or mother that's recorded. And I think it becomes a picture of the eternality of Christ to the writer of Hebrews. But we'll talk about that in a little bit later. I'm just going to take my time working through the grammar and looking at every word and how to identify it grammatically, along with a translation after we have read the Hebrew, and then an interpretation of the text with a New Testament application. So let me say this as I look at this great text. I think about the New Testament, and I was thinking of some of the hymns that I grew up with. And I love the hymns because they say so much. One of the hymns that came to my mind is Break Thou the Bread of Life. And the hymn writer was Mary Lathbury, and Alexander Groves had a part as well. And that would be 1841 to 1913 for Mary Lathbury, Alexander Groves, 1842 to 1909. And the hymn that was in my mind is simply, Break Thou the Bread of Life, dear Lord to me, as Thou didst break the loaves beside the sea. Beyond the sacred page, I seek Thee, Lord. My spirit pants for Thee, O living Word. And I think as we think about this great text, may that be our passion to get to know Christ in a deeper way. Verse 3 continued, Thou art the bread of life, O Lord, to me, Thy holy bread, the truth that saveth me. Give me to eat and live with Thee above. Teach me to love Thy truth, for Thou art love. May we think about Jesus Christ as our great Melchizedekian priest, who brings forth bread and wine, looking at his broken body and the redemption that he gave us through his sacrifice upon the cross. This is my body, which is broken for you, Jesus would say at the Last Supper. And this is the cup, looking at the sacrifice, the blood sacrifice of Christ, which was shed for many. And so let us meditate on the Hebrew, which brings us to Christ. My goal is to do the grammar with the ultimate goal of worshiping Christ.